Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some extraterrestrials action from Habitation Station. Spawning up here in the top right hand corner, we do have XT's own Cowman as the red Protoss player, and up here in the top left, we have his opponent, EG's Demuslim. Raid call. I think I actually have to say that last bit. I don't think I can post this video without mentioning that he has multiple sponsors. Man. Freaking EG stealing all the sponsor money, stealing all that esports money, rolling in all the YouTube dough. But you know, whatever. Cowman, the man, the myth, the legend. He'll land us some people. I know it. I have the feeling. He's allegedly a hacker, but you know, that's no problem. That's just someone being silly. So anyway, we are going to have EG's Demuslim going for a very standard build alongside Cowman. You know, this map pretty balanced for PvT. I'd expect to see Demuslim going for some level of fast expand, because that's just kind of his MO. He really loves that stuff. You know, plus considering the fact that this is just a good map for it. Very thin natural ramp, very easy to defend natural. And, you know, and it's pretty nice to be able to take a third base, because it's reasonably good. And Demuslim, talking about future changes to the PvT, PvP, and PvZ matchups, with the 40-second photon overcharge thing, but you know, that hasn't happened yet, so it's all good. I think he might be thinking about putting on some pressure, or maybe he's just curious, because I doubt he's gonna put on some pressure, especially considering the fact that he's building up to 400 minerals to drop that command center, and we are going to see that command center going down right now at the natural. Kind of ballsy positioning, but you know, whatever. It's not like Cowman's gonna be able to do a whole lot to Zephyr with that. And Cowman getting his gas up at a very standard time. Really no surprise from either player right now. I'd expect to see a 7-rank score coming out from Cowman basically as soon as this pylon finishes. I think he wants to put it behind the middle one. Yeah, there we go. And it looks like they're just discussing the changes to the Protoss VX matchups. And Demuslim, oh my god, Demuslim throwing down the gauntlet at Blizzard. They're just really bad at balancing the game. Wow, Demuslim. Just being mad. Whew. You heard it here first. Demuslim hates Blizzard. Alright, so anyway, we have two barracks coming down from Demuslim. So we're going to see a little bit of barracks action. I doubt it's going to be actual pressure. Purely because, again, Protoss players have a lot of early game stuff they can do to deter pressure. I mean, it used to really just be sentries, but now they have the militia core, they have photon overcharge. They just have a ton that they can do to really just stop any level of pressure in its tracks, especially on a map like this, because you still have the sentries. The photon overcharge is really just a super awesome addition to that. So we are going to have the first refinery coming down from Demuslim. It's going to be interesting to see what his plans are for this game. Currently, he's just going to be making Marines. Not too much of a surprise. He's really just going to be macroing up at this point. We do have a bunker coming down, so he is going to be playing a little bit defensively here. Now, of course, Cowman is getting a nexus of his own, so I doubt we're going to be seeing any sort of extreme pressure happening yet. He is going to be checking around this nexus, making sure that there's nothing crazy going on from Demuslim. Always a good choice. You gotta make sure that whoever you're playing against, it doesn't matter if it's Demuslim or if it's anybody, but you gotta check for that cheese, because you know, otherwise this unit's not really doing a whole lot. And we do have the Stalker moving forward. It will be getting a little bit of a peek off on this orbital command, or at least it should be, because of the fact that this militia core is being extremely distracting at the back of the base and actually almost going down. But you know, it did its job. It managed to pull the Marines off of the front of the base, which is exactly what Cowman wanted. That's exactly what. All right, Cowman's not moving up the ramp yet. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a peek there. Seeing the bunker, backing off. He probably can. He can basically just say, all right, you have a bunker at the ramp. You have an expansion down there, so there's not a whole lot of other reasons you would do that. Plus the fact that he didn't have that many Marines, only 5 actually fought off the militia core, means that there isn't going to be too much pressure. We do have a factory coming down. It looks like it will be swapping out with this barracks onto the reactor, so we might be seeing some form of Widow Mines? Maybe Hellions? But I don't think he's actually seen anything from Cowman to say that he should go Hellions. Because Hellions are really only good against Zealots from the Protoss side. However, he might be going for them just to be annoying. towards the units. However, I do think it's going to be Widow Mines, really without a doubt. We do have Stim, of course, on the way, along with just straight Marines. Are we gonna have a switch off? No. Okay, the factory is just there to be a bitch for the staff party. Okay, never mind. I was a little bit wrong. This placement confused me. The Muslim playing the mind games with the commentators. Always a smart way to play mind games. You gotta confuse us, because if you confuse us, you confuse everybody. Actually, I'm joking. If you confuse me, you confuse like maybe 10% of the population. Maybe. Anyway, we are going to have the robotics bit coming down from Cowman, so we are going to see a little bit of Colossus playing. Not too much of a surprise, really just following the metagame at this point. We have 3 gateways coming up, and actually these last 2 gates are pretty slow. They're not the earliest gateways at all. I would have expected them definitely a little bit earlier, but you know, he knows what he's doing. He just wanted to get that Colossus tech out as fast as possible. And we do have a couple of observers going down here. One of them will be able to scout out across the map. It will see Muslims, basically entire plan. We do have the medevacs now coming out 2 at a time. So he will have quite a few medevacs in just a short amount of time. We do have extended thermal lance and the first Colossus on the way. So, you know, Cowman's going to have a pretty significant army, especially considering the fact that the Muslim is really just Marines at this point. And just Marines, not a good army when you're facing off against Colossi. However, we are going to have the pressure from the Muslim coming at this point, and this is going to be some early pressure. It's going to be a little bit awkward for the Muslim to actually try to hold this off. His first Colossus will be out, and that's going to be a big thing for him in this battle. But this is still going to be a lot of early pressure, and that's a ton of Marines with +1 attack and Stim, and they can do a lot of damage. It looks like here we are going to have the Stim up. Beautiful force fields coming down from Cowman, and he's actually going to be cutting off a fair amount of that army. It looks like he will be chasing down the rest of the Marines, and the Marines will be running away in the medevac. And that was just beautifully held off from Cowman. Splitting up that army like that was awesome. I think he caught 6 Marines off guards there. And oh my god, Cowman, no, Cowman, don't leave your army out here like this. I think he knows. Yeah, he knows. All right. It looks like he's trying to bait the Muslim to drop some more Marines and just give his Colossi Marines to munch on. Because he does have this observer that can spot the high ground. And it looks like the Muslim does see that at this point. Are we going to see a drop coming down? I don't think so. But we do have a switch into Vikings, and this is an extremely early switch into Vikings. And as such, and as makes sense, Cowman is just going to be stopping completely at 3 Colossi, which is really what I would expect. I think he's going to be transferring over into more of that Twilight Council play, because he does have the Twilight Council down. Where is it? There it is. I think we're going to be seeing Templar Archives come out, and I think that's going to be probably the right choice here, because he does kind of, you know, need to switch out, because as soon as these Vikings start to hit kind of a good amount, it's going to be very hard for him to actually win fights with Colossi, just because those Vikings will shoot them down instantaneously. So anyway, we do have both of our players going for 3rd bases at this point. The Muslims is at the gold base. A little bit interesting, definitely not too much of a surprise, because those mules are just so strong on gold, just so ridiculously strong. And Cowman instead is going for the much more safe 3rd base right below his natural, which is also not too much of a surprise, because he doesn't get a whole ton out of the gold base. Like, it's definitely a faster base for collecting minerals, but it's nothing absurd. It's a lot better, but it's not that much better. It's like you just need less workers basically to get the same amount, so it is a lot more efficient. But you know, we are going to have the Muslims army actually coming out right now, and this is a very, very strong army at this point. If we look in the sky, we have 6 Vikings on the way, and that is enough Vikings to 2-shot Colossi. I think maybe 1 shot, but I do not believe so. And we are going to have this engagement possibly going down. Oh, the Muslim with the massive army at this point, just kind of juking out Cowman right now. And Cowman is going to be holding his ground. Definitely a nice choice. We do have Blink on the way along with Storm, but until those 2 finish, he's going to be in a little bit of a bad predicament. He's going to have some issues holding off his army, because this is a very strong army. But we are going to have the engagement quite possibly going down here. It looks like we are going to have the Vikings splitting off. And we have some nice target fire onto those Vikings. One of them going down already. It looks like we are going to have an engagement possibly happening right now. A couple of good force fields forcing the Terran army into a massive choke. And we are going to have this engagement happening now. Extended thermal lance is just ripping apart this army, but those Vikings are doing so much damage to the Colossi. 2 Colossi are down, but it looks like this giant bio army has been cut down to size at this point. It looks like even with the third Colossi down, Cowman will be able to repel this attack, and that was beautifully played by Cowman. Those 2 force fields definitely helped him out a lot. And looks like basically the only survivors from the Muslims are the Marauders, which again isn't too much of a surprise. They have quite a bit of health, and now with Psionic Storm about to finish, and I think there's a couple of High Templar ready to go with it. Yeah, there's triple High Templar down here that are going to have Psionic Storms basically as soon as it finishes. And that's going to be a pretty strong addition to this army. Those Psi Storms are going to do so much damage, especially considering the fact that, you know, this army is no longer a hardcore counter to the army of Cowman, because again, his Colossus don't matter quite as much. He still wants his Colossi to do as much damage as possible, but if they don't, it's not quite as bad, because they aren't his primary source of splash damage. He's going to have 2 Colossus, and he's going to have 3 or 4 High Templar by the time this battle starts. So he's going to be feeling pretty good. They have 4 High Templar out on the field at this point. I think at least 3 of them have storms right now, and that's going to be very good against this army, as this army has a huge core of Vikings. And that huge core of Vikings is not going to be the greatest thing ever. We do have 1 storm actually kind of whiffing on the Vikings, and that's not wonderful because, I mean, Cowman doesn't have a whole ton of storms to use here. And losing one to the Vikings like that is just not wonderful. However, we are going to have this engagement going down. The scan is happening. He does see the army. He is going to be moving in here. It looks like we have a small platoon of units trying to snipe off the High Templar. They managed to kill off one. There is a Psionic Storm going down, doing much more damage to the Zealots than to the army of the Muslim. But we have this engagement happening at the moment. It looks like this Colossus is doing a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. And actually, Cowman, it's going to be a rough fight for him. It looks like he might be going down here, but oh my god, the Zealot Weapon is going to be able to save this fight. And it looks like these Marauders just trying to tank the Side Storms. Not the greatest choice in the world, but we have no more Side Storms on the way, and it looks like this army from the Muslim might just be a little bit too strong for Cowman to be able to fight off against it. Oh, the back and forth has ended with Cowman on the losing side right now. We do have a Colossi doing what it can do. It manages to get 1 kill, but that is not nearly enough. There's too many medevacs, too many Vikings, and it looks like Cowman is going to have to tap out. So anyway, guys, be sure to check out more Extraterrestrials action on this YouTube channel. You can check out other videos I do non-officially for them over at youtube.com/boisteroussc2, and you can check out their official website over on xt.gg. That was really well played by Cowman. I kind of wish I don't really know what he could have done better at this point. I mean, he definitely could have not tried to storm those Vikings, because again, his Colossi weren't important in that fight. The Vikings were going to kill his Colossi no matter what. There was really nothing that was going to happen that was going to stop that. He really just needed all those storms for the army. And I think casting a couple of them on the Colossi was the issue. But I love how the game ends and everything just pauses, because look at that assimilator exploding. That's just beautiful. And I'm going to stop being distracted by random particle effects and just say, this is Boisterous, signing out.